Happy Thursday. Just queuing in now for another Thursday edition of Just Ask, where I, Andrea Hill, queue in to connect with you and answer any of your dating questions that you might have and give you real-time live answers. I am the creator of The Dinner Party, my company that I developed to help people connect on a more authentic level. Things have gotten a little messy out there in the dating world between Tinder and different online dating mediums. They're to be used as tools to extend our reach, to maybe meet people that we wouldn't normally. But what I have discovered, even through my own dating experiences, is that it's actually creating a higher level of disconnection, if you will, where you're messaging back and forth, but there's no in-person connection, and people are flaking out, or people are saying and doing things that they would never do in person. And it seems to be creating more frustration in the dating world, as well as some cynicism. So I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant here as an extension to someone I just had a lovely meeting with the other day, who was voicing frustration bordering on the edge of anger with regards to his experience since living in my city, and I'm located in Vancouver, BC. And unfortunately, this city has been given a reputation for lack of warmth, that Vancouverites aren't warm and fuzzy people. Beautiful place to live, gorgeous surroundings, beautiful people. Everyone embraces the West Coast lifestyle, very active, health conscious. I mean, gorgeous people roaming the streets. But the problem is that no one's talking to each other. And he had moved from the East Coast over here, and he's been at it for 6 years, but he just went on a tear about how it's difficult to connect with anyone here. Everyone's got their eyes down. They're looking at you oddly if you're engaging them and saying hello. Approaching a woman in a bar or a lounge, or hell, even at the grocery store, is proving challenging, and at times a little bit of an affront, because not only are they dismissive and cold, but sometimes they're just downright rude. So I haven't quite figured out why, particularly in Vancouver, that's happening. I know everyone's going to have a bit of that experience where they live, and the grass is never greener. But I think all of us that are out there that are single and wanting to engage with others really have to make the steps and moves in order to continue to create a really great environment for not only have someone to approach and connect you, but you keeping that positive dating mentality in connecting and interacting with others. So part of doing that, I think, is when you are out and engaging with others on a day-to-day basis, doing some things like the drive-by high, which is a little exercise I love to do to just keep myself out there and connecting with other people from a business standpoint, but also just from a humanity standpoint. Looking at people in the eye, giving them a really warm and inviting smile, and saying hello with zero expectation other than to greet and acknowledge someone else's presence. And when you adopt this as a single individual and you're out in your day-to-day, if you stick with it and do it enough, and it comes from a really warm and authentic place, I think you'll be delighted at the sort of shift in energy that starts to come back your way. I'm a big believer in the more love you give out, the more that you get back. And if there's any Vancouverites listening out there, I encourage you to engage at least 5 people that you are meeting on a daily basis with eye contact and warmth and a greeting of some sort. It could be man or woman, regardless of your gender, young or old. If it's easier to do it with a little person or someone who has a dog, because for you it's some sort of level of connection that takes away the fear of rejection, then go ahead and do that. But that was my advice for him, is if he slides down the slippery path of cynicism and painting everyone with a big brush of cold and dismissive, that's exactly what he's going to get, because you carry that energy with you when you're engaging with people. If you think, I'm going to engage this person in a really warm way, regardless of what happens or comes back at me, one, it never feels like rejection because you're staying within your own power and your own energy of just being warm and friendly to another person. But it will start to affect the energy and change and shift how people interact with you as well. And this world's a tiny place, so making a positive impact has a great ripple effect, and eventually that'll end up coming back to you. So I've shortened the Just Ask sessions a little bit because I'm finding that I'm ranting in my past episodes, and I want to keep it on point and answering your questions and being clear and giving you decisive, actionable things to do in order to improve your daily dating life. And it should be daily. You are out there interacting with people all the time. Opportunity is always presenting yourself. Never dismiss when someone could walk into your life and be the one that you end up engaging with and have the potential for a meaningful relationship. Don't discount it anywhere. Nor stay home in your living rooms or do the same thing day in and day out and expect a change in your relationship status. You have to switch it up. You've got to invest time. You might even have to invest some money in furthering yourself and being able to learn and grow your own skill set with regards to your ability to connect with others, but also getting out and going into different venues. Same bar, same night, same people, you're going to get the same results. You have to get out there and really mix it up. So I have had a couple of questions come in ahead of time. Thank you so much. I had a newbie to the area that is, I think, moved here from Europe. He didn't specify, but was scratching his head a little bit as to how sort of relationships worked in Canada specifically. Now, if he's living now in Vancouver, and you come from a very social environment, which a lot of European countries do. Everyone goes out in the evening, they connect, whether it's in a piazza or a town square, or you're out and being social with large groups of people and have the opportunity to connect. It's much more inviting in those environments. In Western Canada, we tend to be a little bit more aloof and we run within our own circles, which is unfortunate, but sometimes breaking into that environment can be a bit intimidating and frustrating. So he had asked about maintaining the longevity of a relationship, and I'm going to answer it from two places. If he has been lucky enough to arrive in Vancouver and meet a great gal already, lucky you, and you're concerned about creating longevity in your relationship and making it last, my number one tip for anyone, regardless of circumstance, when you're in a relationship, whether it be new or you've been in it for a little while, the best way to keep it alive and fresh and rewarding for both you and your partner is giving it the love and care that it deserves. So things can be really exciting when we first start a relationship, and you know, you've got that lustful stage. It's definitely the honeymoon stage. The other person just can't do anything wrong because you just think the sun rises and sets on them. However, once we get familiar with each other and life starts to roll back into potentially routine, or other things come into play, whether that be work or family or friends, that we can get complacent and take other people for granted. And it can really be the kiss of death with relationships. So twofold to this is continue to put the level of attention and care that you would. You can't build a garden and have it looking gorgeous once you plant everything, and then forget to water it or weed it or tend it or do the hard work that is required in order for it to maintain its beauty and come back every year for your enjoyment and for its own strength. So much like anything that you value in your life, you have to put the level of attention and care in it. Keep up your communication, share how you're feeling, ask for what it is that you're needing. You know, do new and exciting things, have adventures together, share where you're at and where you want to go, have discussions about long-term goals or what you're wanting for the future to make sure that you're on the same page, or can even have just in-depth discussions where you're sharing a piece of each other. That's going to keep things fresh. If you're just coming home there every day and sitting down in front of the TV or doing the same thing every night, regardless if you're in a relationship or not, that's going to get stale after a while, and they'll not feel honored and loved, and you're going to get bored. So that's number one. Number two with relationships and longevity is really taking the time to, I know I had touched on communication already, but really articulate what it is that you're wanting for yourself, and asking the questions of your partner so that you understand what it is that they're wanting and needing as well. I just recently wrote an article about expectations and how they can kind of be the death of relationships and future happenstance. We can come in with an expectation of what we're wanting and needing from a partner, and unless we're articulating it, it can really be the end of things before they even get beginning. So make sure that you're keeping a high level of communication when you're in a relationship or starting a new relationship. Don't take things for granted. You know, you don't have to have the upfront scary conversations right off the get-go, but saying what it is that you need, or I'd love to hear from you tonight, or it's important to me that we make plans every week in order to do this, or I'd love to hear from you once a day via text. Just know that I'm thinking of you and you're thinking of me. And then ask. How many people ask what it is that you need and what can I do for you? So step outside of yourself and think about the person that you're engaging with as well. And listen really clearly and actively so that you're picking up on stuff and can provide it maybe before they even ask. Then you're a real rock star. So that's key. I hope that helps with answering your question. If you're looking to meet someone and then you know, look at a long-term relationship, all the same things come into play. If there's a bit of a language barrier, you're going to have to work that much harder on your communication style. But remember, communication isn't always just verbal. It's body language, it's behavior. All those things come into play when you are showing and sharing how you feel about another individual. So I had another question come in from Kevin, and he was asking about chemistry. And is it really important to have chemistry, especially in date 1 or 2, and for the longevity for a relationship as well? And chemistry is a funny thing. You know, ask anyone and they're gonna give you a different answer as to what they think chemistry is. With the dinners that I throw, I always encourage my guests that if they sat down at the table and were engaging with different people and had really easy, comfortable, engaging conversations, that the person piqued their interest and they're curious to find out more about them, but that even though they sat down and they looked at that person and thought, nah, like, yeah, attractive, great guy, but you know, I'm not feeling it. Be careful that you're not getting caught between your need for aesthetic attraction or feeling those sexual lustful feelings between getting to the core of someone, who someone is. I know myself, once upon a time, I had a perfect vision and picture of what it is that I thought was attractive. And goodness knows, over time and experience and, thank God, maturity, I have learned that, you know, sure, there's initial things that I find attractive in another person, but as soon as they start opening their mouth and sharing who they are and what values are important to them and what their focus and passions are in life, if they have them, will shift how that person's appearance affects me very quickly. You know, someone can be smoking hot, and if they're not embodying all of the other things that are important to me and what I'm looking for in a partner in order to share myself and my life with, then chemistry means nothing. So to swing back to the question, Kevin, is this: instead of chemistry, think about curiosity. And if that person intrigues you, I think first date for sure, you have to give yourself and the other person room and space to show who they are, and you being in the date to ask the questions, to be really curious and ask questions about who that person is and what's important to them. We get caught up in, you know, where do you ride your bike, or do you like to hike on weekends, or what do you do for work? And, you know, we might ask a little bit about family, but try having a really deeper, connecting, intellectual conversation with the people that you're going out on dates with. Get curious about who they are. Don't be afraid to ask the hard questions that you possibly might not enjoy the answer to, but you could also discover something about them that just lights you up and resonates with your own values or interests in life. And unless you start asking those questions, you're never going to discover them, because both visual and surface questions are only going to give you just that, surface. And I don't know about you, but I certainly want a deeper connection and relationship with my partner. And you got to do the work in order to figure it out. I just sat down with someone last week, and he articulated that no one had asked him those questions. No one was ever curious to find out really what resonated with him, what heart-based things that he believed in or were important to him. No one ever took the time. He had even been in relationships where someone hadn't taken the time. And it wasn't until he came out of that chemistry haze or that sort of newlywed period that he realized that this person not only didn't really know him, but really didn't take any time or care to know him. And that will only get you so far. So sure, you want to meet someone that lights you up and you think, you know, good looking, sexy, he does it for me, you choose the language. But that's only going to get you so far. If that person is interesting and intriguing to you, definitely get through your first date, do a little digging, be curious, ask the questions, be open, share your own inner workings, and then definitely, if it fits and it feels good, get on a second date. First dates are tough. We get too stuck up in our heads and think about, am I good enough? Are they good enough for me? You're having this whole conversation in your head and you're not present enough to know what's really going on in front of you. It takes a high level of presence and self-awareness to really be in a place where you can have that ability to connect with someone on a deeper level, especially on a first date. We get trapped up in all that stuff. But if you get enough from that interaction, get on a second one and find out more. I mean, are you going to go to some exotic country and spend one day and be like, yeah, that was good. It was fun. The buildings were pretty. And whereabouts was I? And what was the history? And oh no, I didn't know there was a festival there. And oh, maybe I should have spent a little bit more time looking into that. Huh. People are no different. Everything in life is no different. You have to put the effort in order to figure those things out. So sort of a long-winded answer. Sorry, Kevin, but again, I get passionate about these things, and I really want to make sure that I'm making my point with regards to chemistry. So chemistry, great thing. If it's there, fantastic. You're off to the races. But also don't let it distract you from finding out the inner workings and really what makes that person tick. You know, the lustful, sexual feelings, tear your clothing off sort of jive is going to wane. We are all going to get old and not as cute as we were when we were younger. And it's really what's on the inside, as cliched as that sounds, which makes everyone innately beautiful. So take the time to really figure that stuff out. Okay, everybody. Well, unless you have other questions for me, I'm going to do a real quick check on Twitter. I'm going to leave you with those thoughts for this Thursday. Every Thursday I'm here for Just Ask. You can email me at info@jointhedinnerparty.com to get your questions in early, which is easiest. Give me context and I'll do my utmost to dig deep and answer those questions for you. You can also tweet at me live during the event at jointhedp, or if you have already liked, which I hope you have, the Dinner Party Vancouver Facebook page, you can post your comments right under the link for this live event, and I'll ensure to answer those questions for you. So excuse me while I look down quickly. I'm just going to take one last peek to make sure I haven't missed anyone. If for some reason I have, don't worry, I'll answer those questions in upcoming weeks. And I encourage all of you too to go over to jointhedinnerparty.com and sign up for my free dating intelligence. I write a blog article once a week addressing different things that either I myself has experienced or things that have come forth with my interactions with my clients or just experience in the dating world that I share to help empower and help you while you're out there so you're having a good time and you're not frustrated with your dating experience. Dating should be fun. You're going out and dating, and every interaction that you have is just practice in order to fine-tune and learn a bunch, not only about yourself, but about the people that you're interacting with, so that when you come upon that person, that meaningful relationship, you can acknowledge and honor it for what it is. Dating teaches us so much about us. So go over to jointhedinnerparty.com, sign up for free for the dating intelligence. I also have an amazing contributing professionals that are offering advice about sex, dating, and relationship as well. I've got a wonderful holistic sex therapist, Jernika, that is writing once a month, so you don't want to miss what she has to say about sex and relationships and dating. I mean, there can be a touchy subject and, you know, uncharted land for some people, and if you can address it and handle it with a higher level of grace, then you're that much further ahead. So one last check here, pardon me while I take my look down. And I'm not seeing it lit up at all, so I'm going to leave you there, guys. Join me next week for Just Ask, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, where I will be answering your dating questions live right here. I look forward to seeing you then. Take care.